Yo, what's up, sports bettors? I have three parlays for today: a 3-leg parlay, a 5-leg parlay, and a 6-leg parlay. All of them have juicy payouts. So let's go ahead. Let's dive into it.
So I have one parlay on Prize Picks, and then I have another one on Parlay Play. So I've explained this before, but these two platforms are really interesting, right? And the reason they're interesting is you're going to notice they don't change your payouts based on you selecting overs or unders, right? So on Parlay Play, if we switch Trey Lyles to an over as opposed to an under, we're getting the same payout. And it's the exact same thing on Prize Picks, right? So basically the way these platforms work is any 6 picks you select, this is your payout on Prize Picks. It doesn't matter if you take overs or unders. And any 6 picks you select on Parlay Play, doesn't matter if you take overs or unders, this is your payout. So what you're going to notice first is the payout on Parlay Play is a little bit higher than Prize Picks, right? So if you go 6 for 6 on both platforms, you're getting a 25x payout, but on Parlay Play, if you go 5 for 6, you're getting a 2.5x payout. If you go 4 for 6, you're getting a 0.5x payout. Whereas on Prize Picks, if you go 5 for 6, you're only getting a 2x payout as opposed to a 2.5x payout. So long story short, Parlay Play is a platform, right, that is very similar to Prize Picks. They're not changing your payouts based on the 6 picks you select, but they have slightly higher payouts than Prize Picks does. So it's definitely a platform you should sign up for if you have access to it, right? So this is a new Prize Picks competitor. I recently started playing around with them, and there's a lot of value that I've been able to find on Parlay Play. I think I've actually cashed. If we go to my previous entries, I mean, not to brag, but we've had a pretty good run on Parlay Play recently. So I think we cashed, this one, we went 6 for 6 recently, so we turned 60 into 1,500. And then I also think we cashed 2 this weekend, so another 60 to 1,500 one. So we had some really big wins this weekend, been making a lot of money on this platform. But anyways, so because these platforms, Prize Picks, Parlay Play, they're not changing your payouts based on you selecting overs or unders, the strategy to beating them is pretty simple, right? I mainly just pull up the OddsJam positive expected value, the positive EV tool. And all this tool does, right, is it scans these tens of thousands of lines on Prize Picks, Parlay Play, and it just shows you spots where sportsbooks have one side heavily favored. So here for Lizardo, all the sportsbooks, Bet Online, Pinnacle's known to be the sharpest sportsbook in the world, all the bookies are saying the same thing. They're all saying, hey, Lizardo's under 7.5 strikeouts is the heavily favored outcome, right? So you can see here on TonyBet, right? They have the under at minus 137. Pinnacle, sharpest sportsbook, they have the under favored. So all these books are saying, hey, Lizardo's under should be the heavily favored outcome. So this is a great play to include in your Parlay Play entry because again, on Parlay Play, they're not changing your payouts based on you selecting over or under. So really the strategy to beating them is you just want to find spots where books have one side heavily favored. So here for Chris Flexen, all the sports books have his under 4.5 strikeouts as the favored outcome. So this is a great play, pretty simple to include in our Parlay Play entry. Caesars is saying, hey, his under's a lot more likely. WinBet's saying, hey, his under's a lot more likely. DraftKings is saying that too. So OddsJam is reading in millions of odds from sportsbooks to show you those few rare betting opportunities where books have one side heavily favored, right? Because those are the plays you want to go with as a sharp sports bettor on Parlay Play, right? So long story short, you can use this tool, the positive EV tool, or you can use this new betting tool, which is called the OddsJam Fantasy Screen. So the fantasy screen, this tool, it's currently free to use. It's in beta mode, testing mode. It's been free for like a month now, but all this tool does is pretty simple. Again, none of OddsJam's tools are based in BS, right? That's what makes OddsJam unique. Everything is based in data, right? You have hundreds of sports books. So now I got to zoom back out, which is pretty annoying, but we have numerous sports books all telling us, right, where the line should be set. Caesars, billion-dollar company, really sophisticated models. DraftKings, Bet Online, Bovada, Pinnacle, they're all saying the same thing. Hey, Looney's over, his over 19.5 PRAs is the heavily favored outcome, right? All the books are saying the same thing. His over should be heavily favored. So getting this play on Parlay Play is a great pick to go with. And OddsJam is updating all these lines. So you can use the positive EV tool or the fantasy screen. So what the fantasy screen does is pretty similar, right? It's just reading in these odds from sportsbooks and telling you the probability that that play is going to win, right? So all the books have Looney's over 19.5 PRAs favored. So obviously Looney, he's going to go over or under 19.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. So the sum of the probabilities, right, for him going over or under, it has to sum to 1 to 100%, right? He's either going over or under. So because the sportsbooks have his over favored, he's going to be over 50%, right, to go over, 19.5 PRAs. So if sportsbooks, let's say, all had him, equal odds to go over or under, then this would be 50%, right? When sportsbooks are giving you the same odds on an over and an under, there's no juice in either direction. The over's 50% to occur, the under's 50% to occur. But based on the fact that all the sportsbooks have Looney's over favored to around minus 130, the over is 53.83% to occur, right? So the over is the favorite outcome. It's the juiced outcome. This is a great play to include on Parlay Play. So this tool is very similar to the EV tool, and you can use it for any of these platforms like Prize Picks that aren't going to vary your payouts based on you selecting over or under. And I say this all the time too, but you never know where the value is going to be on a given day. Sometimes there's more value on Prize Picks. Sometimes there's more value on Parlay Play. Obviously, because Parlay Play has slightly better payouts, as we showed earlier, you'd prefer to bet on Parlay Play as opposed to Prize Picks if you can get the exact same picks. But long story short, Parlay Play sometimes has better lines, more betting opportunities. You can see they have, a bunch of great plays available right now. These ones aren't available on Prize Picks, right? You can't get this line, Max Muncy to get on base, right? You can't get all of these lines on Prize Picks. So long story short, here's what I went with, right? All these plays are just from the EV tool. Looney over 19.5 PRAs, Fox over 27.5 points, Muncy over half of a base, Freeland over 1.5 walks allowed, Lizardo, Flexen under 7.5 strikeouts. Again, just all these plays from the EV tool or the fantasy screen. So then we flip over to Prize Picks, right? So we just went through one of our parlays and we say, hey, where's the value on Prize Picks? So Prize Picks, they offer slightly worse payouts, right? So we want to see slightly more juice, right, on sportsbooks. Again, Prize Picks are not varying your payouts based on you selecting over or under, right? Any 6 picks you select, you're always going to see the same payout. So all you want to do is, again, find spots similar to Parlay Play where books have one side heavily favored. So for Marcus Johansson, right, the NHL playoffs is starting up. Hey, take a look. All the books, right? Every book sets lines independently. They all have their own models. So you have all these billion-dollar companies, all these sophisticated sports books. They're all telling you the same thing. Hey, Marcus is over, should be heavily favored around minus 140 odds. PointsBet's a little more bullish. They have a little more juice towards the over compared to DraftKings. But long story short, you look through the market and you're like, okay, most books are pricing this around minus 140, minus 145. So getting this in our Prize Picks entry is a great bet to go with, right? It's a very profitable play to go with. So I took this, Johansson over 1.5 shots on goal, and then again, I flipped over to the fantasy screen. Hayden Wiekenski over 4.5 strikeouts. Look at this. All the sports books have the over, heavily favored, right? They all have this around minus 140 odds, minus 145 odds. So there's value in the NHL, there's value in the MLB. I say this all the time. As a sharp sports bettor, I just follow the value, right? If there's value on prize picks in the MLB, I'll have more bets on the MLB. If there's value on parlay play in the NHL, we'll have more bets on the NHL. So here's my second parlay, right? Hintz under 2.5 shots on goal, Brady under 2.5 shots on goal, Curry over 11.5 rebounds plus assists, so Johansson over 1.5 shots on goal, Hayden Wiekenski over 4.5 strikeouts, right? Just following the data. I never bet with my gut. I say it all the time. 99.9% of sports bettors, they trust their heart, their gut. That's why they all lose money, right? So then finally, last parlay I went with is on Fliff, right? So Fliff is an 18 plus sportsbook, only have to be 18 years or older to sign up. And now Fliff is different, right? Fliff is a regular sportsbook. You know, like they're not one of these platforms that doesn't vary your payouts based on you selecting overs or unders, right? It's very different than, you know, prize picks and underdog fantasy. It's very different than these platforms. It's a regular sportsbook, but the same concepts apply if you want to find value in the market. So the positive EV tool, that's not what I meant to do, but the positive EV tool, so let's go back here and then let's switch this to Fliff. But the positive EV tool does a great job of that, right? It just shows you value in the market. It's scanning the tens of thousands of lines. Again, all these sportsbooks, right? You look at prize picks, they have tens of thousands of lines on their platform. Most of these bets are not profitable. You look through the NHL goals, right? But you don't need to bet on every player on every game. You don't even need to bet every single day. Most of these bets are not profitable. All you want to find is 5 profitable plays, right? Out of the tens of thousands of lines on prize picks, you're looking for those few rare betting opportunities like Marcus Johansson, where sportsbooks have his over really heavily favored, and you can still get that line on prize picks. I didn't wake up today wanting to bet on Marcus Johansson. I followed the market, I followed the data, I followed the math, and saw, hey, all the books have his over heavily favored, so this is a great play to go with on prize picks, right? It's the same thing here. So I made a little parlay on Fliff, and I didn't wake up today and decide to bet on Islanders Hurricanes over 6.5 total goals. The market is telling me this is an incredibly profitable bet. Most other sportsbooks are pricing this around plus 170 odds, plus 165, plus 170 odds. We're getting plus 195 on Fliff. Crazy value. You know, like we have a bunch of videos about how to back out your profit margin. So under this percent column, this is also known as your profit margin or your edge, right? Profit margin, edge, ROI, whatever you want to call it, right? We have a bunch of videos about the math, how to break these things down. But I mean, this is rational sports betting, data-driven sports betting. You have dozens of sports books all telling you where this line should be set. They're all pricing the over 6.5 around plus 165, plus 170. You're getting plus 195 on Fliff. Crazy value. Right? It should be rational. You know, follow data. You have numerous data points, all these sophisticated sports books, you know, billion-dollar companies, really complicated models. They have better data sources than you. They're all telling you where the line should be set. And you're hunting through the market as a sharp bettor and looking for discrepancies like this at plus 195. Very clear value. So this is the first play I went with. Next, I went with the Braves minus 2.5 at plus 190. Most other sports books pricing this around plus 165 again. Really clear value at plus 190. Right? And then finally, where is it? So I didn't take either of these plays, but I took the under 111.5 first half total points in the Nets 76ers game. So we're getting this at minus 130. Most other books pricing this around, you know, minus 150. So really clear value again. Sometimes there's more value in the NBA, sometimes it's in the NHL. But look for line discrepancies, right? You have dozens of sports books. It doesn't matter if you use OddsJam or not, right? OddsJam is updating millions of odds to show you these line discrepancies and make it easy to find profitable bets. But you can do this manually. You know, pull up FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, you know, Bet Online, Bovada, Pinnacle, PointsBet. Pull up all these sports books, hunt around, and look for value in these big line discrepancies because those are the profitable bets. So let me show you my play.
So right here, you can see my parlay on Fliff, 3 picks to make over $1,500. We got NBA in the mix. We have NHL as well as MLB, finding value all throughout the market. I've said this before, but Fliff is an 18 plus sportsbook. You only have to be 18 years old to sign up. And it's also available in basically every place in the United States. California, Texas, you know, all the big states have Fliff available. So definitely a good platform to look into getting if you don't have it already. There's a lot of value on Fliff.